we can do that. Yeah, we can touch on it.
Yeah.
We can because honestly, like, what is there to say about Dark Side of the Ring that hasn't already been said, honestly? I mean,
the fallout.
What can we say that hasn't already been? Well, you know what? No, you're right. Because I do have a different opinion than like what I think a lot of people have.
Go ahead.
To those of you who watched the video this far, because I know you all have short attention spans, but this ain't going to go how you think it's going to go. I was having a conversation with Scotty the other night, and I told him, I said, Ric Flair is going to face repercussions for a little while. When I say a little while, I mean in like the grand scheme of things, a few years, right? WWE ain't going to touch him. Like when I say touch him, they're not going to give him any work, right?
WWE is not going to forcibly put his hand on there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, WWE isn't going to give him any work for a good while. I mean, he left WWE in favor for AEW and shit anyway.
And I don't see AEW taking him either.
Yeah. Nor do I see Impact touching him for a long time.
If they got rid of Tommy Scotty, Dreamer, they won't.
Yeah. And Tommy Dreamer is just suspended. Indefinitely, sure. But he's just suspended. And the thing about Ric Flair,
No. Keep going.
The thing about Ric Flair is dude is on the wrestling Mount Rushmore. Right? Everybody, even people who are not fans of wrestling, know who Ric Flair is. Ric Flair put that whole fucking sport on the map, whether you like him or not. As a person, Ric Flair is a shitty human being. I'm not in support of anything Ric Flair does. But the fact of the matter is this, whether you like it or not, dude played a huge part in getting wrestling to where it is right now. Along with Hulk Hogan, who, mind you, was also canceled at one point. I
think he's banned from AEW, like permanently.
Banned from AEW, but he was just at WrestleMania this year. Right? The Rock and Austin are on the list. And it's supposed to be 4 people, but John Cena obviously forced his way into like whatever Mount Rushmore.
He just breaks it open.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
people on that level don't suffer the same repercussions that people outside of it do. That's just.
Here's where I'm going to disagree with you, right?
Okay.
And now, but keeping in mind that I'm fully aware that the repercussions that the person I'm about to name is facing will never be like Ric Flair will never get to that point. But you could have said the same thing about Bill Cosby in comedy. In terms of putting, comedy on the map, in terms of putting sitcoms on the map, he is on the Mount Rushmore. 1,000%.
I'll also interject really quickly and say the difference between Ric Flair and Bill Cosby is that Bill Cosby is black. But we can continue.
Okay. Fair enough. But I remember even when everything was going down with Bill Cosby, everyone was like, he'll bounce back. They were like, he won't face it. Like, there's people still supporting him. Like, it'll go down. And it hasn't. And I think that if America's favorite dad can...
Black America's favorite dad.
Yes. Can face cancel consequences. I would like to think, and this is where I really hope you're wrong, that Ric Flair will do the same. In terms of his legacy, I don't like people will still see him as one of the greats. Undoubtedly.
Probably to a lot of people, like
a lot of people. Like even people who dislike him will be like, his impact on wrestling has been a good thing.
there are people who still have Chris Benoit on their list. Think about that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, there's still people who think that, like, never mind. We won't go into it.
I think I know what you're about to say, but yeah.
But no, man, I really want him to face the consequences of it.
And he's
in
going to just
in
not
his old ass age, he'll be. I think he'll be blackballed from major wrestling promotions for the remainder of his life. I think when he dies, public opinion will soften. And they'll be like, yes, but look what
public opinion is going to soften greatly.
When he dies, yes.
Yeah, it's going to soften greatly. Everybody becomes more powerful in death.
Two more things that really brought up. One,
and I know this was a different time, right? But Tupac Shakur, right?
Yeah.
Once got charged with, it was a sexual assault, right? Got a sexual assault charge. Nobody brings that up now.
Kobe Bryant.
You see when people bring it up, right? It'll get brought up in conversations here and there.
But as a whole, the legacy outlives the problematic issues.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of someone who has,
and mind you, it makes a difference that these are Black men, right?
Yes. Okay.
And they still overcame that. Ric Flair and death will certainly overcome that.
Yes. Two more people I want to touch on about this, but before we wrap this up, there's always a tier list whenever there's a big expose.
Yeah.
Right? Like Tommy Dreamer's getting the most heat.
Which is wild.
Then Ric Flair. And then getting really no heat, which I'm kind of upset about it.
It's Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
They just skipped over that.
Yeah. And look, I don't want anybody to get it twisted. All three of those dudes deserve consequences, right? Tommy Dreamer deserves consequences for getting on there and acting a fucking fool defending Ric Flair.
Which I'm gonna get to in a moment, but
yeah. And Ric Flair, of course, deserves consequences. I'll never deny that. I'm just looking at the reality of the situation. His consequences won't be long term. And if he dies while he's still facing consequences, is going to be the story that's going to be remembered is his career for the most part.
Yeah, but Brock Lesnar is not going to face anything.
Brock Lesnar hasn't and will not face shit, and it's crazy to me.
Because it was a single line about what he did.
Yeah, and that's like the reason why that's so crazy to me is he did some of the same, like that's the same shit Ric Flair did. Ric Flair's getting hit, which he should, mind you. Brock Lesnar isn't getting anything.
The difference is he did it to someone who is conditioned to not respond to it and who has accepted the fact that it's part of the job. And that's fucked up.
But even so, like, having people gotten I don't believe in cancel culture, by the way, but having people gotten canceled, like, for less?
Yes, but, and that's where I think the tier list comes in. Like, if whenever, I guess, like, cancel culture comes in, there's always a target, right? And if people outside of the target is also problematic, they get a pass, right? People went after Harvey Weinstein, or let's not even say Harvey Weinstein. Let's say, what was his fucking name? Roman Polanski.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
They went after him, ignoring all of the actors and directors who publicly supported him as he was being convicted. Because they were like, well, no, because, like, we can't do that. You know, it's just like, well, if we do that, then where do we stop?
So you think this is fine? You think this could be like people finally getting at Ric Flair for all the shitty things he's done? Like,
yes, and the people outside of it who's done similar things won't, at least immediately, face those consequences because there's a bigger fish to fry.
and Ric Flair has had his shit building up for like decades.
Now,
Yeah,
did you see Tommy Dreamer's apology?
no.
Oh my god! All right, it's
Show me after. I don't want to see it right now. Well, send it to me.
I'll send it. Essentially, he said it was like it was never my intention to victim shame. It was never my intention to hurt someone. I understand that what I said was wrong, and I'm really sorry. And the general reaction to it has just been like, "But what do you mean you didn't mean to? You did. Like, you did do that."
Here's my thing, and we had this conversation, right? Ric Flair, bad person. Brock Lesnar, bad person. Tommy Dreamer is just fucking stupid.
He's just stupid.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's stupid.
I think he's been one of the boys for so long
Yeah,
that he doesn't know when to separate.
yeah. I think he really, I think he thought his apology was sincere right there. I honestly think that.
No, I do too.
But whether or not people take it that way is an entirely different story. I think his apology was sincere. I could be wrong.
I think what he has to do genuinely, and you know, Tommy Dreamer, we know you're watching. Just kidding. Look, no, like, because he said something stupid, and he straight up victim blamed. What he needs to do is shut the fuck up for a while. Don't try to make a comeback. Let it die down. Take the time to learn how you thought was wrong.
Take time to atone.
And then come back an improved person.
Yeah. And honestly, just here's the thing. People now are like very unforgiving over less.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think, and again, like I said, the fact that he's getting the most heat for this is crazy. He said some dumb shit. Ric Flair and Brock did like actually physically did some wild shit.
But here's where I have to disagree with you. He said some dumb shit in 2021 in a different climate when it's been known that doing that shit is wrong, right? They did shit in a time where they felt the boundaries was a little more blurred. And that's not taking away anything that they did. It's an awful fucking thing. It's awful people. But there's something to be said about realizing what they've done is awful and then calling it a joke or a gag and blaming the victim. Like, so if Ric Flair was sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if Ric Flair was interviewed, or Brock Lesnar, or and there were just like, it wasn't that serious. Like if it was that serious, she should have went to the full extent of the law. Which, okay, a flight attendant going against the WWF, it would have drowned her in debt. It would have made the entire country hate her.
Yeah.
And it would have ruined her life.
Yeah. She had to choose her battles.
Yeah.
My thing about that is, to me, by pointing out the time period, right, and saying, okay, you should realize that you can't say things in this time period, and then looking at what they did back then, to me, that's almost lessening the weight of it. I don't like to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was wrong back then. And then we even people who realized it was wrong even back then. People on that realized it was wrong back then. It don't, to me, it's not a matter of time period. Right is right and wrong is wrong whenever
absolutely.
It's, you know what I'm saying?
But
the reason why, I will say Tommy Dreamer, like I said, was stupid for not realizing who he was sitting in front of, like talking to, right? Like everybody's.
He's been on the after shows. He knows the show. He's been on it.
Yeah. He knows how many people are going to see it, right? Like he knows all of this shit. Do I still think that he should suffer heavier consequences for saying some shit compared to the people who actually did it? Because like I said, no matter when it happened, right is right and wrong is wrong.
I in comparison to them, I absolutely don't think he should suffer more consequences than that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But openly, not just defending it, but making light of it on camera when you know you're being recorded, I think that the consequences he's faced is fair.
But I do think Ric Flair and Brock Lesnar should face heavier consequences.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think Ric Flair probably will. Brock won't.
Brock definitely won't.
They'll still have him be the baby face against Roman Reigns.
Yeah. And that's another reason why he isn't going to face shit, is because he's in a prime position right now. Ric Flair, like I said, he will. He's going to face him, but in the long run, no.
All right. Well, we'll hit back with another Scenes from a Marriage review after we finish this up and immediately go watch it. Whenever the Chris Kanyon episode comes out.
I can't wait.
Oh my, I hope they touch on the Undertaker thing.
You think they'll do that?
WWE's like very rarely involved in Dark Side of the Ring. I think they'll do it because like he fucked him up.
Yeah.
And like I know they have like Diamond Dallas Page on there.
Diamond Dallas Page was his homie.
Yeah, and like there was another I actually didn't even know the guy, but it was the guy who ran like UWF or something like that. And like they were like, yeah, he was on cocaine all the time. He started a show by saying like, let's hear for the Jews, because he was Jewish. Like Dark Side of the Ring is really good at pushing uncomfortable conversations. And I think Chris Kanyon is the perfect example of that. Because, I mean, I saw the John Cena interview on Howard Stern where he was like, well, he's just a bad wrestler and he didn't have what it takes. And it was like, no, dude, like Kanyon was a good ass wrestler. And whatever gimmick they gave him, he would knock it out of the park.
Yeah, who's better than Kanyon? Nobody. But no, like I can't wait for that. I hope that this is I hope this takes John Cena out the same way the last episode is seemingly hitting Ric Flair. But again, John Cena's on the Mount Rushmore, so we'll see.
I don't know. I think Undertaker would be a bigger, like he has a better chance of being hit by the episode than John Cena. Because like he's retired, he's out of it. He makes comments about like how he wishes the locker room was back to the old days.
Yeah, he didn't get a whole lot of points for that when he said that. That wasn't smart. But Undertaker was a lot better when he was quiet. You know, like when he wasn't retired and just stayed to himself and he would pop up on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then he's just like, well, here's all of my opinions. And we're like, no.
Oh, well, yeah, no, don't do that. You find
You
out
saw
he's
him with
blue.
Glendon when he became a fucking mayor. Don't.
Yeah, you know, you find out Undertaker's all Blue Lives Matter and shit. Like, yeah, yeah. Isn't it sad? Yo, several of my homies who are like wrestlers right now have met like a lot of like big name guys, and they're like never meet your heroes.
That's how it always, like, even RVD in the episode said that he was like, "Don't meet your heroes,
Yeah,
man."
yeah. He was like, "Oh, go, never meet your heroes," and damn. Mm.
But it's like that's the thing, though. You know, you see someone from like the '80s and '90s, and you're like, "Dude, I love that person," and then you
Yeah.
find out that they have beliefs from the '80s and '90s.
Think of all the wrestlers who haven't made it now that like if they were still here, what we might learn about them. Like wrestlers who are your favorites, right?
Yeah,
You don't hear from them now, but oh my god, imagine.
you die a
Imagine
hero or live long enough to become the
see,
villain.
yeah, isn't that crazy?